So Pat here from Pat and Farmer Garage. Today we're going to be removing the factory efan harness off of an 05 to 06 Chevy truck, Suburban 1500. These are an upgrade for me personally, cooler AC, not overheating at idle. For any truck, GMC 800 from 2000 to 2004. 03 and above is plug and play. 2000 to 2003 requires a little bit of work, but you can make it work. So we have a truck here that has efans, a couple wires been snipped. We'll explain what you need to do to fix it. And we're gonna go through the process of pulling it so you can go out there and pull it. A fan from this junkyard, this double blade, this dual fan is $33. This replacement one from Rock Auto is $163, I think. Wiring harness, I know they're gonna only charge maybe 15, 20 bucks. And the one from Nelson Performance or Black Bear Tuning, I think goes for, or LS1 fan swap goes for, I think over 100 bucks easy. Now, I'm not saying those companies are bad. They definitely make good products. But for people who just have junkyards near them and like to go wrenching and, you know, do some upgrades to their truck, this is definitely a good option. You know, pretty much 50, 60 bucks versus a 300, 400 you can do for new. And the best thing about this is it's all factory. If factory really goes bad, go to AutoZone, O'Reilly's, wherever, get a new one. You know, efans go bad, you can swap it out to the TYC 622-210s, which are the 07 to 14 9 blade fans, which are freaking tits. But for now, these are the exact same fans I have on my truck. Farmer has them on his truck, and here in Tejas summer heat, they do great. So we're gonna take a minute and show you what we need to do. All right, guys, so we're gonna begin pulling this harness right here. So this is it. This is the efan harness for all these trucks. 2 fans, 3 relays. Only 2 wires, but it has 3 different speeds. 1 high, 2 low, or both high. So originally this truck has already been gone through, so we can't show you taking it apart, but this is where your PDC sits, right here. You pull the lid, blah, blah. Now, in order to get to this, you have to pull the lid, pull the cover, and then the whole thing could pick up a little bit, and you could pop this out and move it out of the way. This wire right here is cut. Usually it isn't. This wire, it sits like this, and this wire comes up, and it goes right to that 7mm bolt on the PDC. It already has a wire there for other powered things. All you do is you put it right on top of that. Everything else from this wire this way is fused, so you do not have to worry about adding anything extra. You just put on that bolt and you're done. These wires don't matter. These wires were for like ABS or fog lights or other stuff. These 2 are the more important ones. One's green, one blue, okay? Now for this, these 2 wires go in here and they go to the PCM. You can pull the PCM apart and depin it and grab these lengths of it. However, I'm not going to do that today because it's a pain in the butt and it's like 105 degrees out right now. All you do is you cut this harness apart, you can follow it up, pull the red and blue connectors off of it and depin it. For us, we have thousands of pins sitting at home and plenty of wire, so we can just make these lengths of it. All we do, essentially cut it right here, so you have that length to just tap into. Now, at the moment, myself and Farmer, we both have these wired to switches. All they require is a ground input. So when this gets a ground signal, it activates the relays and takes care of everything else. One's for the AC, one is for overheating. Now, if you overheat while the AC is on, it'll function like it needs to. So what we do is we just cut this here, and then we take the rest of the harness out. It goes down this way, under the PCM, and then goes along the bottom panel of the radiator support. And that's where we're gonna start pulling out. So right now what we're gonna do is take the radiator hose off, we're gonna take the air box, air hat off, and then get these efans out. All right, guys, we're back. Radiator hose is off, air hat's off. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna pull this efan. Now, we're probably gonna get it just because if it powers on, we'll show you how you can test these. You know, these things, like I said, are brand new, 160 bucks. These motors don't go bad often, so 30 bucks is a lot cheaper, especially if they test good. So all you gotta do for these things is once you get everything else off up here, the radiator hose runs from here this way, reach down here, get one fan harness off, E-fan harness off, and it's going to fall down. So now the E-fan is going to be ready to get pulled out. So quick note for people who are doing mechanical fans to electric fans. Electric fans uses the wider mounting points, okay, because it uses the wider radiator. So if you're doing this right up the bat, you need to go measure your radiator and make sure your core width is 34 inches. If it's 27 or 24 or whatever the other one is, it's too short, it's too narrow, and these E-fans will not work for you. Okay, for these E-fans, they use the bigger bolts. They use the 13 mil bolts versus the 10 mil bolts that the mechanical fan uses. You do not need a new tie bar. If you have a 6.0, 5.3, or whatever, 4.8, whatever else came in these things. If you have an 8.1, your tie bar is going to be different. Farmer has some videos on the page to show you the difference in the tie bar. So all you do to pull the E-fan off is you're going to use two 13 mil bolts. Make sure Farmer gives you the impact on reverse, not tighten. Okay. These E-fans lift right up. Boom. E-fans out. 2 bolts. They sit down in the radiator on these 2 little nubs, and it also sits on the core support on these 3. So here's the differences in the bolt mounting I was talking about. When you do this, when you pull these, you need to make sure you pull these bolts, because these 10 mil bolts that go in here will not fit in here. Good case in point is to always pull the radiator bolts. The radiator bolts are the exact same one for the fans. So anytime we come out here and we pull harnesses or E-fans, we grab these bolts too, because they're always good to have. You do not need to remove these, but they're good to have in your toolbox. Or extra bolts. So now we're going to pull the ground wire for the E-fan harness. For some reason, GM ran it all the way over here to the driver's side. 2 wires, but they're both for the E-fan harness. It's a 10 mil bolt. Pop it out. We don't keep those because we relocate this harness because it does not need to go here. This bolt hole was only there 05 and up, so you don't have a ground there. You can drill a hole and put a bolt in there, but you can ground this wire either on, you can ground this wire pretty much anywhere. We ground it to was right here. You can reroute that wire because the harness comes right this way, and just piggyback off it this way and put it right to there. I've had mine that way for 2 years, hasn't been a problem. So you're gonna get this ground wire off, and unfortunately GM also ran all this extra crap with it too. So all I do is I just cut it because I don't need it. Maybe. And depending on your junkyard, they might charge you for extra wire harness. So the less you need to take, the better, in my opinion. This harness all uses the same one. Put it on that side. So this is the harness right here that you're going to be pulling. I'm going to get a screwdriver. So I'm prepared. This is all you need. And as you can see, we're working our way back. It also includes the airbag crash sensor. I think there's one more down here too. These are obviously the fan harness clips that I removed. Can't find words right now. So this is what we're working on. Now there is a way, if you didn't want to pull all this, or you're just having a bad day and you just don't give a shit, you can literally just cut it right here. If you cut this right here, you'll see the black wire. It's like a 12 gauge or 10 gauge black wire that runs this way and then goes this way. All you need to do is connect those two and re-put in a ground wire up on that side by that harness to whatever ground you want. We're pulling this strictly so you guys can see. If you want to keep it factory, you want to keep all the locations the same, this is how you do it. So now I'm going to pull the rest of this harness out. All it does is run along here under the PDC. I'll be back when it's done. All right guys, so we're back right now. as you can tell, the video is completely different because Farmer back there was videographing portrait mode, not landscape. So we're back. So this is where the harness comes out. Right here, it runs up the PDC mount to the tie bar. Okay, normally the PDCs, or not PDC, I'm sorry, the PCM sits right here, and you cannot get this out. You got to pull it. For whatever reason, I put enough pat strength in there, and it just broke off. So I don't have to do that. So this is where the wire is. This is all the efan harness right here. Comes up right here. And it comes right here. And this is where it terminates. So we're gonna pull these two clips right here. Possibly.
I'll go around the other side.
Or do my favorite way and just start cutting shit. And then they'll pull right out. So once you have this harness right here, you do not need any of these tiny ones. I don't know if you can see it. These tiny wire harnesses, right? All you're gonna do, cut it. And cut it. All right. And then right here, these are the two trigger wires. We're gonna cut those. And boom, your harness is free. Next, I'm gonna show you how to trim this down so you're not buying all this extra wire for no reason. We found some shade because it's, like I said, fucking hot. Now you can take this harness and you can just pay for all of it, and you can do this at home. We don't mind doing it here because it only takes a couple minutes to do. Pretty much all you're going after is you're going after this wire, these two connectors, this, and then that. So from here down, there's only 5 wires technically that you need. Everything else is going to be junk. These are like the crash sensors. Over here's the light sense, the headlights, and I don't even know what this is. Get rid of it. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna trim it down and show you all that you need. First thing to do is get rid of all these clips. Now, what I do when I put these harnesses in is mine's a 2000, Farmer's is a 2001. We have these harnesses that run along the bottom just without all these extra wires. So all I do is I zip tie them, or however you want to do it, to the current harness that we have, and it's been working fine. Like I said, this is the wire that normally goes to the PDC. It was cut when we got here. We got a little length of wire to add it back to it. We'll show you how we did that later. So the stuff on the outside is tape. And then you say, Pat, it's fucking stupid. Of course it's tape. What some people don't know is that Chevy used a vinyl wrap on the inside of their wires. And see how they space it apart? That's so when you tape it all together, it isn't harder than friggin' something inappropriate that it shouldn't say, since there's probably kids watching this. So all you're gonna do is find places that you can start with. All these wires that are cut, you can kind of pull to get the wire going. And start unwrapping it. Now for me, what I do is I keep all this wire loom because you can put it back in it and it looks nice and pretty. So like I said, from this way north, you don't need to touch. Leave it how it is. Everything south of it, you can trim down like we're doing. Essentially all these tinier wires, these twisted pairs can go. These big 5 are what you keep. 4. Now also you can cut this, take a razor blade straight through it. However, you run the risk of slicing into wires that you possibly need. And like I said, this only takes a couple minutes to do. So if you want to do it right, do it once. There's no point to rush it. And you can just take your time, get it done, see where everything goes, and do it properly in my book. Well, as Farmer does, just take one of his knives and just slice it down there and pull out what you need. There's crash sensors, but I like to keep the wiring looms, so we're going to take it out as well. These wires don't matter that they've been depinned because you're not even using them anyways. I just yanked them out because the harness didn't want to come out. said, I like to keep those. That way we have them for later. A fun little fact, yes, you can put these fans on an 8.1. We have videos, we'll link them in the description, that shows how to do that. You don't need to change that much. Farmer ended up doing his e-fans because his radiator started leaking, and then he saw how nice my e-fans were. We do not do that much towing. However, I do tow with mine all the time, and I have never overheated. I overheated more with my mechanical fan than I have with my e-fans. I know there's naysayers out there that say, oh, mechanical fan can't fail, and you know, there's a reason why GM put it in there and all that stuff. Now, I'm not saying you guys have to go to e-fans, not at all. All that you're not using. That's what we're getting at. You know, no one says you have to go to e-fans. I have a wife who loves AC, okay? Sitting at idle and stop traffic, mechanical fan does not move that much air. Not moving that much air means hot wife, and I don't like dealing with that, okay? E-fans are great. I have not overheated with e-fans once. I overheated so many times with a brand new mechanical fan clutch in SoCal, and I have yet to overheat here in Texas in 2 years. Okay, so you're gonna keep this how it is. So this is what I was talking about, this ground wire. These two wires, one goes this way, grounds to the frame, and it also comes back to go this way to the relays. If you don't want to take the rest of this harness out, what you can do is you can cut this whole harness right here, and then you can just solder these together, crimp them together, butt connector, whatever you want to do. Use something waterproof, please, especially if you're in the north. I'm from Ohio, I deal with rust, not anymore, okay? And if you join these back together, you just have to add the ground somewhere in up here, which is not a big deal, okay? So we're gonna show you how to take the rest of the part, because if you wanna do it right, who am I to say no to that? And as you can see, we're back on landscape mode. Farmer's doing a great job behind camera. He's usually not this quiet. He knows that I like to talk a lot and I like to explain a lot. That way, if there's any questions, you can be like, oh, Pat said it in the video. Rewatch it. And if I miss something, comment. Like, comment, subscribe. I have a lot of more videos coming out soon. And, you know, we monitor the channel pretty regularly. Farmer does a lot of work too. I just like explaining shit properly. All right. But if you have problems or questions or concerns or, hey, like, how do I do this? Just comment, shoot it, you know, ask us. We're here to help people have their vehicles running properly or better. We have no problems helping people out. We're going to go put a set of these fans into a buddy of ours later today. An 05?
I believe it's an 05.
05, something. We might.
It's a crew cab short bed, 2500 HD with a 6.0 in it.
6.0.
Yeah, he's got a brand new mechanical fan clutch in his, and he's just not. He's overheated pulling his trailer. He's getting warm AC at idle. So we're
all the fun stuff why people go away from mechanical fans. I know the people out there, oh, electric fans will never pull as much as e-fans. Well, have fun with your warm AC. That's all I say. All right, so this is all the crap we take out of it, and this is why I like to strip it down in the junkyard. You ain't using it, okay? This is all you need. And if you cut this section out right here, you don't even need this. These 4 wires are what control the fan. All you'd have to do is add that ground wire right here, back into the black wire, again, right here, and you just ground this wire somewhere, okay? You cut into it, you keep the connection this way, but you just add an extra ground, you ground it off somewhere. So this is it. This is all it takes for e-fans. Now, I like this because we have a spot for this in our PDCs. Pop the whole cover off, and there's a little knob there. You have to move 2 harnesses, pop them onto a clip, Christmas tree clips, move them out of the way. You set this thing in there, put everything back on, it's good, okay? I don't recommend you doing that until you test the fans and test the relays and make sure that's good, because you don't really want to keep pulling it apart. The 05 and 06 GMT 800s that came with e-fans have a different PVC cover that has a spot for this. We'll show it to you later. We have one that go in the 06 that has a removable flap to check these relays and these fuses, okay? but this is it. Now, if you want to do aftermarket ones, by all means do it. I think the 05, 06 fans are great. Like I said, the upgraded ones are the 7-blade, 9-blade that came in the super beefy newer trucks. The part number for that is TYC622210, and that's a 7-blade, 9-blade. The only difference is you have 2 extra spots that hold the transmission cooler lines, but they do not interfere in yours in any way. Only people with 8.1s will have a problem trimming those off, like Farmer had to do.
Which was no big deal.
But you can use this harness on the newer fans, like I mentioned. They pull the same amount of power, actually a little less. They move so much more air, but even the 5-blade, 7-blade combos are still working fantastic. All right, so we're gonna go show you how to test these fans. We have them sitting in our cart over there, and we'll be back. All right, guys, Pat and Farmer back. Pat here. We're gonna show you how to test E-fans. These are the fans we pulled. Me and Farmer, we carry these around as either the pigtails for these fans, just for situations like this. They're always good to have. So what you're gonna do is plug it in. All right. Obviously, the fans sit recessed from the mount, right? So as long as you have nothing under it, it's gonna kick some dust up at you. Make sure they spin freely first, and then it's gonna pull. The reason we use this one is because black's always ground. You got a black and a blue. So all you're gonna do is put ground. This is a 24-volt impact battery. It's enough to make it jump. All you're gonna do is put black to ground, and you can put blue to power. Boom, works. So you know that one's good. What I'm gonna do is take this one, put it over here. Same instance. Black to ground. All right, blue to power. Works as well. And that's it. That's how you know your fans are good. After this video, you should be able to go out, even with the truck that's been unmolested, untouched, and figure out exactly what wires to pull, what wires need to get done, what wires to cut, and then, you know, 20 minutes you'll have a full set of fans and wiring harness, and you'll be able to put them in, and you'll be riding much better.